welcome into another video, and today we are talking wide receivers of the 2025 NFL draft class. One thing that I've noticed is always around this time of year, people are going to start building up the hype of a draft class, no matter how good or how bad. People live for this kind of shit. I live for this kind of shit. This is my favorite time of the year of the offseason. It's better than free agency, better than I enjoy this sometimes more than I do the playoffs, probably because my team's not in the playoffs, but this is fun. This is looking towards the future. Once again, probably because my team is always looking towards the future. They're always going to hype up a draft class no matter what. This, in my opinion, is a weaker draft class in 2025. And I would say the same thing for the wide receivers. I compare this a lot to the 2022 NFL draft class, except a weaker version of that. We saw 13 wide receivers in 2022 go in rounds 1 and 2. I don't think we should see that. There's a possibility we could. I don't think we should see that. I think we should be looking more like the 2023 class, where we saw only 8 guys go between rounds 1 and 2. But in terms of comps, it is very, very comparable to the 2022 class. A lot of size and speed, a good mix of it. You know, you've seen a lot of tech comparisons to Drake London. You've seen Luther Burden comparable to Garrett Wilson, guys like that. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into talking about my top 10 wide receivers. And we're going to kick it off with my number 10, and that is wide receiver out of TCU, Jack Batch, coming in at 6'1", 214 with a 4.55 40 time, a PFF ADP of 44.1, most drafted by the Pats, Boys, and Jets. Second team all Big 12, and the Reese's Senior Bowl MVP had a solid stat line of 62 over 134 with 9 touchdowns. When watching Jack Batch's tape, you can see how big and strong of a receiver he is. He is going to be a very reliable possession guy. He can win inside and outside, box his defenders out. He has that rebounders mentality where he boxes his guy out, does not let anybody get in front of him for that football. Very tight end-esque kind of play, except he's definitely doesn't have the size to play tight end. Some other things he does well, he has elite ball skills. I'm talking like glue for hands. He's that good. He does not drop the ball. It just falls into his hand with ease, and he tracks the ball very well. Like an outfielder, like the scouts like to say, he has very well-timed hands. And once the ball's in his hand, he is a bulldozer of a runner. Not afraid to lower his shoulder, has a very strong stiff arm, will drag guys down the field with him. Going to be really helpful when picking up that extra yardage. His athleticism isn't great. The 4.55 speed is, very true to what you see on tape. He's not going to be stacking DBs at the NFL level. He tends to struggle a lot with press coverage and doesn't have the acceleration, burst, or the explosiveness in his release to really get by an NFL DB. I view him as a power slot receiver in the NFL, a reliable possession guy. He's going to get them 5-6 yard chunks, box out the DB or the linebacker, be able to pick up a couple first downs for you. I don't see him working into the third level much at all. If you give him free space at the line of scrimmage, he can be a problem for opposing teams. But if teams are smart, they're going to try and press him as much as possible. Regardless, if he is pressed, he's a physical presence. That can help him win these routes. He is good inside. He is good outside. He's going to be a reliable possession target, probably a wide receiver 3. I have like a third-round grade on Jack Batch. Moving on to my number 9 receiver, we have Ole Miss wide receiver Trey Harris coming in at 6'2", 205 with a 4.5 40 ADP of 75.4. Pats, Boys, Packers. Third team All-SEC in 2024 and second team AP All-American in 2024. When looking at Trey Harris on a surface level, there are a lot of red flags that will kind of jump off the page to you. 23 years old, a very north-south guy used primarily for north-south routes at Ole Miss. I saw on Twitter that 47 of his 79 targets were hitches or goes. That's not necessarily great, and he had high production versus weaker non-conference teams. 534 of his 1,030 yards were against Furman, Middle Tennessee State, and Georgia Southern. Looking past that and watching Trey Harris and his tape, he does have the true NFL build. 6'2", 205, nice and compact. He is much faster on tape than his 4.5 speed. He has that second gear to him. He accelerates really well after the catch. I'm talking like elite acceleration after the catch. He looks like the fastest guy on the field when he hits that next gear. I don't know how he ran a 4.5 40 time after watching his tape. He's very strong, just like Betch, able to drag defenders and pick up more yardage, breaks tackles. The thing is that I think he could be more than a hitches and go kind of guy. He has shown some promise in his little reps and being able to win at the line of scrimmage and work inside. I think looking at him now, he is a strong X receiver in year one with the upside to becoming wide receiver 2. But I think with good coaching, he can eventually, with more reps, be a guy who can work inside and outside a hell of a lot better than he was used at Ole Miss. Being able to expand on his route tree. It all depends on coaching. There's going to be some coaches who bring him in and be like, okay, he was used a lot for hitches and goes. That's what we're going to use him for. But there's going to be some coaches who will see his size, his speed, and his acceleration and do whatever they can to expand his route tree. Let's move on to my number 8 wide receiver in the 2025 draft class, and that is Jalen Royals out of Utah State, coming in at 6 foot 205 with a 4.42 40, an ADP of 83.2. Patriots, Packers, Chargers, most drafted. Patriots and Packers you're going to see on here a lot. Wide receiver needy teams. Had some really solid production in only 7 games, posting 55 receptions, 834 yards with 6 touchdowns. First team all Mountain West Conference in 2023 and second team in 2024. The high production in 7 games has Jalen Royals skyrocketing up people's boards. He's only coming in at my number 8, but that's still not bad. If you go look at his 3 biggest non-conference matchups, so I think it was USC, Iowa, and I forget the other one, but didn't really post great production in those games. But overall, my feelings on Jalen Royals are still very good. I think he's going to thrive in the short level game in the NFL. 31% of his receptions were on screen passes, and I believe his average yards after the catch came in around 10 yards per catch. So once he gets the ball in his hands, he turns into a running back. Despite verticals being a big part of his game at Utah State, I don't think he has the long speed to consistently stack these DBs, which I think is going to shorten his game to just more or less the 2 levels for the wide receivers. I don't see him as a 3-level wide receiver. But like I said, I do think this is a guy who's going to thrive in these short game situations. He's very strong. He's physical. He uses that very well to create separation at the line of scrimmage. And once he gets the ball in his hands, he has plus yak ability. I mean, he really is a running back. He's got good vision, good size, good strength to go for a while. He kind of reminds me of watching DJ Moore a little bit. Moving on to my number 7 receiver, we have wide receiver out of Iowa State, Jaden Higgins, coming in at 6'4", 214, 4.47 speed with an ADP of 48, most drafted by the Patriots, Packers, and Seahawks. 2024 second team All Big 12, 2024 third team AP All American. Now we are reaching the point where we're starting to enter into the guys that I think are second-round picks. I have third-round grades on Royals, Betch, and Trey Harris. This is where we're starting to reach my second-round guys. Higgins, I think, is going to be a reliable X receiver with the versatility to occasionally play in that power slot role on an offense due to his shiftiness and speed. He's got an unbelievable wingspan, making his catch radius unbelievable. 6'7". He's got easy, soft hands, very reliable hands, catches the ball very well. Very smooth, long stride route runner. Physical at the top of his routes as well, which is very key for a guy his size. Doesn't let DBs into his chest at all. I will say, watching his tape, he got away with a lot of push-offs in college football, which I don't think he will always be able to get away with in the NFL, which seems to be more strict on stuff like that. Higgins is nothing special really after the catch. He does have good size and good speed, but he's more of a reliable possession X guy. He's not going to be burning your DBs by any means, but he gets separation, he gets open, and he catches the ball. That's really what fucking matters. Good vertical too. Good vertical. He can go up there and get it. For 6'4", that's very important. He has like a 40-inch vertical with a 6'7" wingspan. He's going to be good. He's going to get receptions in this league. He's going to be very reliable, in my opinion, X receiver. Moving on to number 6, we are staying with Iowa State here, and we are going with Jalen Noel coming in at 5'10", 194 with a 4.39 40 and an ADP of 81.5. 2023 second team All Big 12, 2024 Big 12 co-special teams player of the year. I'm telling you right now, guys, this dude is not a special teams player. Should be a second round pick just from his combine alone. 4.3 40, almost a 42-inch vertical. 11-2 broad jump, 23 reps at the bench press. He is an unreal freak, a primary slot receiver who excels up the seam with great burst, great release, able to elude any press coverage in his path. Accelerates very well on his cuts for those like crossing routes deep across the field, able to turn on a dime. He's got above average run after the catch as well. He doesn't take contact too well, coming in at 5'10", 194. But with that return ability, these guys have great vision, great speed. And his build is somewhat denser. You know, he's not 165, 170 like you see some of these 5'10 guys come in at. Really good at finding the soft spots in zone coverage and making a great first cut after the catch. He's not very lengthy, and you know, so that makes his catch radius small. He's got small hands, so drops are sometimes a concern. But look at these measurables, people. Outside of his height and weight, he is a freak. 11-2 broad jump. I mean, do I need to go over it again? Almost a 42-inch vertical. This is a guy who can go up there and get the ball. You know, despite his size, he is somewhat physical. It's just the catch radius and the length that's going to shorten that range in which you can throw him the ball. But if you put it on the money, he is going to come down with it. Moving on to my number 5 receiver, a guy who has skyrocketed up everybody's boards after Chris Sims put him as his number 3. He is not my number 3. He's my number 5, and that is Kyle Williams, coming in at 5'11", 190 with a 4.4 40 and an ADP of 130.8. This is a second round guy. People, do not listen to that. 14 touchdowns, 4th in FBS, and he was the Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year in 2020. Like I said before, this is a guy who is very slowly rising up everybody's boards. A phenomenal deep ball receiver. 6 touchdowns of 20-plus yard targets this season. He's got really beautiful feet at the release, and he separates down the field with ease. Wins versus press inside and outside. Big play potential after the catch. Lots of forced missed tackles. Averaged 13 yards after the catch on screen passes. He's shifty. He's got finesse, and it's crazy because he was predominantly the X receiver at Washington State. And how he won so much with his frame at the X is kind of beside me. I think he has alignment versatility. I don't think he's going to be an X in the NFL, probably at that size, but, you know, he can be swung out there. He played it a lot in college, so you could move him out there. And this is a guy who should be a day 2 lock. Yeah, I mean, he's older. He's a fifth year senior. So, you know, he's done his dues in college football. He doesn't play in an overly strong conference, but when he had Cam Ward, that offense seemed to be working. I really like Kyle Williams' tape. Don't listen to the ADP that PFF is telling you on there. He is a second round pick. Moving on to my number 4 receiver. We are now entering into my first round, guys. And number 4 is Matthew Golden, 5'11", 191, 4.29 40 with an ADP of 20.4. Cowboys, Packers, Chargers. Everybody wants him. He had 58 receptions on 987 yards and 9 touchdowns. One of the highest rising receivers in this class. I see some people mocking him as the number 1 receiver in this class. I think that's a little much, but, you know, to each his own. None of us are always going to agree on this, and half of us are going to be wrong about this. I do really like Golden, but it's really tough for me to put him ahead of the 3 that I have going ahead of him because of how raw he is. He's got a smaller frame, and his route running is too inconsistent for me to put him as the top guy. Has shown that he has drop issues as well. And for a guy who runs a 4.29 40 after the catch, that does not show up. He really struggles to re-accelerate after the ball is in his hands. He is a guy, I mean, 4.29 speed, once the ball is in your hands and you have open field, gone. It should be a guaranteed lock, this guy scoring a touchdown. And I watched too much of him getting caught on the run. And that's a turnoff for me for 4.29 speed. Regardless, it's still 4.29 speed. this guy is a burner. He has the potential to be a star. This is a guy who has showed up in big games, national championship level games, and had very big moments. He's probably one of, if not the best speed manipulator wide receiver in this draft class. Often you see him start to take it slow and then just burst to create separation, able to dice his way through the secondary very well, not afraid to get his hands dirty either, gets up there in traffic, no problem. I thought he was an okay blocker for his size. That's what I'm saying. Despite his frame, he handles very well in traffic, not afraid to take a hit, goes up there, makes really good contested catches. He has highlight material. He is a freak athlete. He's a guy who's able to stretch the field with his 4.29 speed. He works so well underneath, like I said, talking about that speed manipulation again. Slow, speed up, slow, speed up, able to get him some separation. And a guy being able to stretch the field and work well underneath, that just gives him alignment versatility across the board. I really do like Matthew Golden. He just needs to work on refining his route running. That's my only complaint. He's sometimes inconsistent as a route runner. It is not that crisp. He struggles sometimes to come back to the ball strongly. He cleans up the drop issues. He cleans up the route running a little bit with a good receivers coach, a good head coach. This guy could very well be a star. No doubt about it. Moving on to my number 3 receiver, we have out of Ohio State, Emeka Egbuka, coming in at 6'1", 202, 4.48 40 with an ADP of 23.4. 2022 second team All Big Ten, 2023 and 2024 third team All Big Ten, and a 2025 college football playoff national champion. This guy is the day one slot receiver for whatever NFL team drafts him. As you can see, he does have that ADP in the mid-20s, meaning he is going to be going to a playoff team. This could be my early sleeper for rookie of the year because he is going to be going to a team who he's going to be lining up probably day one in the slot for and being an all-time machine, especially if he goes to the Broncos. I just want him to go to the Broncos so bad. He had an injured 2023 season, and then the rise of Jeremiah Smith in 2024 is what I think is causing this kind of fatigue or this slip about Emeka Egbuka. I mean, I remember after 2021 or after 2022, we were talking about like, okay, in a year or two, this guy is going to be the guy in this receiver class. I have him coming in at my number 3. But still, this is a first-round guy and a monster. He doesn't have the top-end speed that you would like him to have, but in the short game, he is extremely quick, and he is very detailed in his route running. He's got great tempo, makes adjustments well, and creates a very good separation. He's got that baseball background, so he tracks the ball very well in the air, and this is a guy who comes back to the ball very fucking hard. What I bitched about with Golden just 2 seconds ago is he needs to refine his route running a little bit, come back to the ball harder. You don't have that issue with Emeka Egbuka. He's got okay yak ability. He is strong, very good, compact build. He shows flashes of aggression and contact at times. And, he does still have 4.48 speed. Coming in at number 2 out of Arizona, we have Tet McMillan, 6'4", 219 with a 4.48 40 time and an ADP of 9.7. 2024 first team AP All-American, 2024 first team All Big Ten, and last year he was third team AP All-American and second team All Pac-12. Tet McMillan is one of the smoothest 6'4" route runners that you will see on tape. His 4.4 pro day speed and his 40 matched what you will see on tape. He's got long, nice, smooth strides and has good acceleration after the catch. He's going to be very good in the NFL. His vision, awareness are off the charts. It seems like he is constantly just finding the softest spots in zone coverage. He knows where every single defender is on the field. He's so good at finding ways to evade and avoid contact out in the open. His first move after the catch or his first step after the catch is elite. Like, it really is. Go watch his tape as soon as he catches the ball. Like, it seriously does look like he knows where all 11 guys are out on the field. He won't even be looking at a linebacker, and he'll know exactly where he is. He will catch the ball and know exactly how to make him miss. He's so good at adjusting, taking what the defense will give him. He's excellent on the boundary. He's excellent in the red zone, will consistently win jump balls with his size and his vertical, and he has unbelievable body control, and his catch radius is enormous. My only bitch about Tet McMillan and why he's probably not my wide receiver one is for his size, he is kind of a little soft, just a little bit soft. The physicality does not match that 6'4" build. Too often at the top of his route is he just letting DBs get right into his chest. And he sometimes occasionally struggles with press coverage. I don't like that from a 6'4" guy. From a 6'4" guy, I want him bodying these DBs. When I talked about Jaden Higgins earlier at the top of his route being very physical, at press being very physical, Tet does everything else better than someone like Jaden Higgins does. But that's the only thing I'll give Jaden Higgins the edge on. Regardless, Tet McMillan's still a top 15 guy. Jaden Higgins I have is a late second round grade. That's the difference. He does everything else to the next level. That's my only complaint about Tet McMillan. And now moving on to the number one in the class, and that is Luther Burden the third, coming in at 6 foot 206 with a 4.41 40 and an ADP of 25.5. A weak 2024 with only 61 receptions, 676 yards, and 6 touchdowns. 2024 first team All SEC, 2023 second team AP All American, and also 2023 first team All SEC. Despite his decline in 2024 production, this is still my number one wide receiver in this draft class. Missouri did not utilize him properly at all. This is a true 3-level threat, big playmaking wide receiver. Look at this. 75% of his career catches were targeted inside 10 yards per PFF. This is a true 3-level wide receiver. They did not utilize him well. Really good speed, really shifty, compact, dense, strong. He's got phenomenal ball skills, phenomenally timed hands, tracks the ball perfectly in the air, probably the best in this class outside of Igbuka. Great body control, and he's got unbelievable plus in yak ability here. This guy handles contact so well. He's got phenomenal contact balance, like a running back out there. He's got phenomenal juke moves. He's awesome in the open field. Occasionally will dance almost a little too much. Sometimes he just needs to go. Overall, phenomenal. He was predominantly used in the slot at Mizzou, but like I said, this is a guy who has alignment versatility, can make big plays at all 3 levels. Mizzou did not handle him properly. You could see it in his tape how much projection and how much potential this guy really has. And playing into that versatility a little bit here, he had a higher target percentage per route run and a higher yards per route run on the perimeter, despite only running about a fifth of his routes on the perimeter. This guy is a true number one wide receiver. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another video. We are just a mere couple weeks away from the NFL draft. The NFL draft content is going to keep rolling out for you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.